Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is going to be a slightly different video than normal. If you saw my previous video where I was making predictions about the upcoming Smash Ultimate DLC characters, today is going to be the follow-up where I talk about the characters that I want in the game. If you didn't see the previous video, don't worry about it. It's a completely different list. There will be a link to that video in the end cards at the end of this video and in the description down below. So really quickly, these characters are, basically these are just characters that I want in the game, no matter how unlikely I think it is, although I am limiting myself to characters that I think have a chance at getting in the game. So, like, you know, they're characters that I could imagine in a Nintendo game. Like, there are no, like, what's his name? The God of War, Kratos? Why did I pick an example of a character that I don't know the name? Whatever. That's just that's just what you get when you watch my videos. Yeah, so they're gonna be like, you know, Nintendo characters, or at least third-party characters that have shown up on Nintendo consoles occasionally. Let's see. Also, I am going to continue with my assumption that, assist trophies, I don't know why I can't remember the name assist trophies anymore. I'm going to continue assuming that assist trophies cannot become playable, so despite the fact that Skull Kid from Majora's Mask is my first choice of a character that I want in Super Smash Bros., he is not on this list. He is disqualified. So these are my top, these are actually my choices 6 through 2. So, yeah, anyway, well, I say that, but they're actually, I guess I shouldn't spoil it, but there are going to be a few bonus characters on this list. It's not actually 5. That being said, let's just get on with it, huh? We're starting with number 5. It's a countdown, so 1 is 5. We're starting with number 5. These are in order of how much I want them, by the way, not anything else. So, number 5. I want a new Mii fighter, specifically a Mii fighter that represents Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. And we can call them Mii Sports. I counted how many unique sports there are between the two games. I think there are 15, and you only need 13 for the special moves. Okay, you got the 4 different types of specials. Neutral, side, up, and down. And Mii's have 3 options for each, I think. If it works like Smash 4, then they have 3 options for each special. That means you need 12 specials. Plus 1 for the final Smash. That's 13 sports that you need for the special moves. You have 15 choices. There you go. It's perfect. And then all the other attacks could just be boxing. There you go. It's perfect. Who cares? Oh, I see my notes were on screen. Well, my clipboard was on screen. That's all my notes. Is behind the scenes action. Oh. I hope you didn't see. I hope you didn't see that too clearly, because if you did, there's no point in watching the rest of the video. Anyway, I mentioned that there might be a few bonus characters on this list, and the first one is also part of number 5, which is, instead of Mii Sports, you could also have a reference to the Nintendo Labo, and you could call it the Mii Labo. I couldn't come up with anything that sounded better than that, so the Mii Labo would basically have a moveset that used the different Labo kits. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's pretty obvious where I'm going with this. And you might say, because I said this to myself when I was coming up with this, you might say that can't happen because the Mii's already have a costume based on the Labo, and that would just make everything confusing. And then I came to the conclusion that's a good point, but I'm going to hold out hope anyway because I think this would be cool. Okay, so number 4, a new Mario fighter. Now, I know that this is a little iffy because, Piranha Plant got announced and a lot of people are kind of upset because it wasn't Waluigi and it wasn't Gino. But neither of those characters are on my wish list. I have a different character in mind, and his name is Mario. Specifically, Paper Mario. I mean, it basically writes itself. Paper Mario has so many different moves between the partners from the first 2 games, the abilities from the third game, I guess. I don't know. I guess the pixels from the third game. I was just imagining that you would just use the abilities, but whatever. Okay. The partners from the first 3 games, including the pixels. I didn't play Color Splash, but I'm sure that it had something of value that you could add. And Sticker Star was also a game. I think that Nintendo would be better off representing, leaning more toward the first 3 games. They can represent Sticker Star and Color Splash with his moveset, but I would recommend that they not only represent those 2 games, because if they did, a lot of Paper Mario fans would probably be pretty upset with them. Another bonus character. There's basically a bonus character in every category. So I said this is going to be my 5 characters. It's actually 10 characters. So my second choice for the Mario games. Actually, no, Paper Mario was the second choice. The first choice, the one that I really want, is Professor Elvin Gadd. Professor E. Gadd. Most people just call him that. I don't know why I wanted the full name. So Professor E. Gadd, and I already have a moveset idea in my head where it would be based heavily on Luigi's Mansion. So Luigi's moveset, he uses the Poltergust for his final smash and his grabs, and that's it. But Professor E. Gadd would use the Poltergust for pretty much his entire moveset. He'd be attacking with ghosts and elements and plungers and all kinds of things. And it'd be really cool. If you don't want to include it... Oh, and it would have the added benefit that E. Gadd hasn't shown up in a game in a long time outside of Luigi's Mansion. So, it might be cool to bring him back in the non-Luigi's Mansion games. If not E. Gadd, you can have a second Luigi called the Poltergust Luigi. In the same way that there's Mario and Dr. Mario, now there would be Luigi and Poltergust Luigi. So now both Mario Brothers would have 2 character slots, I guess. And if Nintendo did do this, they could also have an alternate costume that's Gooigi from Luigi's Mansion 3D. Okay, that's it for that category. So number 4, Professor E. Gadd. If not, Poltergust Luigi. If not either of them, then Paper Mario. So now let's move on to number 3. And fittingly enough, number 3 is a third-party character. Rayman. Yeah, he was on my other list as well. Spoilers if you haven't seen that one, but Rayman is my third pick. There's not much to say about it. I just want him in the game. If not Rayman, like I said, there's a bonus character in pretty much every category. If not Rayman, then Shantae. Shantae the half genie from the Shantae games. I think that'd be interesting. Shantae's an indie character, so you could finally... Not only would she be a third-party character, she'd also be an indie character. That'd be pretty cool. Plus, her transformations lend themselves to a moveset super easily. And, most importantly, the Shantae games have really good music. The only reason I want Shantae in this game is so that there's some Shantae music in Super Smash Bros. In fact, you know what? Forget Shantae. You don't even put her in the game. Replace one of the DLC characters with just a bunch of Shantae music. That's it. I'd be happy with that. I'd pay $6 for that. Okay, number 2 is a Fire Emblem representative. And I kind of went over this in the other list. But I specifically want a Fire Emblem representative that does not use a sword. Okay, I'm not too picky here. It could be pretty much anybody as long as they don't use a sword. That's it. That's the criteria. The character that I specifically mentioned, the character that I specifically mentioned on my list is Ephraim from what was that? Sacred Stones, from Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Ephraim. He uses a lance instead of a sword, which means that already his moveset will be very unique. However, like I said, there are a bunch of different characters on this list in every category. Although, unlike every other category, Fire Emblem actually has 3 names that I mentioned. So the first one is Ephraim. He's the runner-up of the runner-up. He's the 3rd pick for Fire Emblem for me. And the reason I put him 3rd is because while he does have a unique weapon, he does kind of fit into the same, like, aesthetic that Marth, Lucina, and Chrom fit in. He wouldn't look unique, but he would play unique, which I think is more important. But since he's not the only character that we can get that would play unique, I think that the aesthetic shoves him down a few spots. So now, my second place, the runner-up for Fire Emblem, is an axe user. And I say an axe user specifically because I actually have 2 names for the runner-up. The first one is Edelgard. I don't know how to say her name. The girl from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I put her here. She wasn't actually going to be on this list, but I put her here because I think that she's actually got a pretty decent chance of getting in the game. The character that I actually would have picked as an axe user is actually Hector from Fire Emblem. Just Fire Emblem. I think in Japan, it was called the Blazing Blade or the Binding Blade. I always get those 2 mixed up. Fire Emblem 7, the one the first one that released in America, Fire Emblem 7, I'm pretty sure it was the Blazing Blade. I think Hector would be pretty cool. He's got all that armor. He'd be like the big heavyweight type. He'd be a big heavyweight type character. He'd have an axe, and then he'd like hit people with the axe, and it'd be a lot of fun. However, there's always a however. However, he, much like Ephraim, he does kind of fit into the same aesthetic category as Ike. He only looks similar to one character though, so I think I think he'd be a better addition than Ephraim, but we can still do better. So my number 1 choice for a Fire Emblem representative in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC character would actually be Anna. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that Anna deserves to be one of the main representatives of Super Smash Bros. Because Marth may have been the first character, Chrom may have been the one that welcomed in all the people who joined with Fire Emblem Awakening, but Anna is the character that's been in almost every Fire Emblem game. She's only skipped Gaiden, the second game Gaiden, and its remake, Shadows of Valentia. I think that you could give her a unique move set. You know, she's kind of like a trickster type character. She could be like more of a fast ninja-like character, like Sheik or Greninja. Although I guess maybe less ninja-like and just more. I don't know. I'm not making the moveset. I'm just naming the characters. Also, the most important reason why Anna should be in this game is think of every Fire Emblem character already in the game. You got a bunch of blue-haired guys, you got the 2 white-haired people, but what about Roy? Roy is the only red-haired character. He needs someone else. He needs a red-haired partner to talk about red-haired stuff with. I don't know any red-haired people, so I just assume that they talk about having red hair all the time, and Roy's got no one to talk to about that. So we add Anna, bam. It's perfect. Everything works out perfectly for Roy and Anna. And also, I thought this would be funny, but I forgot to mention it when I was talking about her potential moveset. Instead of having a down B counter, her down B would work more like Villager's neutral B, where she would grab an item, and then, I don't know, she would like... And then she could sell it or something and get like a money bag that she would hit people with. I don't know. I just like that idea. Anyway, so, and that brings us to number 1, which is actually the only spot on this list, making up for Fire Emblem, which had 3 spots and 4 characters. I don't know how that works, but it only counts as 3 spots. It's 4 characters, but it counts as 3 spots. Making up for that, spot number 1, Kirby. Kind of spoiled that, I guess. Spot number 1 only has 1 name, and that's Marx. I want Marx from Kirby Superstar, because Marx is the most fun villain in the Kirby series, because he's like this goofy little guy. He's a silly little goofball. That's what I wanted to say. He's a silly little goofball. And then it turns out he's actually a psychopath, and he's a really funny villain. I like him as a villain, and largely, probably for the same reason that I like Skull Kid as a villain. It's the same reason. He's essentially the Kirby version of Skull Kid, which is why I want him in the game. And I don't even have to say that he would have a good moveset, because he's basically already got a moveset. Just play Kirby Star Allies. The moveset is there. And that about wraps it up. That's those are the characters that I want in the game. To recap, a new Mii fighter, either representing Wii Sports or Nintendo Labo. Not 1-5, that's number 5. Number 4 is either Paper Mario, EGAD, or Luigi with the Poltergust 5000, or 8000, or 10,000. Whatever the Poltergust in Luigi's Mansion 3 is going to be called. A third-party character. I specifically mentioned Rayman or Shantae, but I mean, you know, there are a bunch of third-party characters that they could add that would be pretty cool. A Fire Emblem character, either Ephraim, Edelgard or Hector, or my personal top pick being Anna, and of course Marx. So, yeah, those are the characters that I want in the game. I don't expect them to be in the game. Except for Rayman to a degree. But those are the characters that I want in the game. And, yeah, that's about it. So, you know, if you like this video, despite how bad I am at talking without a script, you know, you're going to like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're at it, if you are going to comment, why don't you go ahead and tell me what your top 5 picks are? Or 10 picks. I put down 10. I put down 11 names. 12 names? I put down 12 names. I forgot that EGAD and Poltergust Luigi, that I counted both of those because I put them like in the same spot. So I put down 12 names. So I mean, nobody's gonna stop you at 5. Nobody stopped me at 5. Nobody's gonna stop you at 5. Just if you do put down more than 5 names, you have to label them 5 through 1. You got to find a way to make that work. Okay, that's on you. That's the price. That's the price of giving an opinion. You gotta only 5 through 1. It can be any number of characters, but you have to label them 5 through 1. Okay, I've beat this joke into the ground, so I should probably stop talking now. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, I don't know how you did it. I'm not even gonna watch this video to the end, but thanks for doing that. I appreciate it, I really do. And goodbye. Please ignore that awkward jump cut. I spoiled something. Shoosh. I said something I shouldn't have. Anyway, goodbye, and don't worry, my next video is going to have a script.